I've been treating sex addiction and working with couples for a long time. And I often get the question, is not having sex healthy for my relationship? I'm going to answer that and more in this video. When and how can taking a break from sex be a good thing for your relationship? I'm going to tell you success stories and stories that didn't go so well about couples who have taken a break from sex and why it's a good thing and why it's not such a good thing. Can you guys pinpoint the difference between selfish sex and selfless sex? I'm going to help you understand what the difference is and help you evaluate your relationship. Is not having sex healthy for your relationship? It depends. That's not an easy answer. It depends on the status of the relationship. Sex can either be a very healthy thing for a relationship or a very unhealthy, destructive thing in a relationship. So if destructive sex is going on, then stopping that behavior is a very good thing for the relationship. If good sex is going on, then stopping that behavior is not a good thing for the relationship. So we need to differentiate between destructive sex and healthy sex in a relationship. Good sex is based on love and connection. It's an opportunity for two people to come together and feel safe and feel connected and create something together. Bad sex is based on consumption of the other person. It's using the other person for your own selfish needs. Bad sex is done out of obligation and fear and control. Bad sex oftentimes is more about one partner than another. It's sex done from a place of entitlement. Good sex is done from a place of love, connection, trust. You want to come together because you feel intimate and you feel close to each other. So when does sex become toxic in a relationship? Sex is toxic in a relationship when sex becomes a trigger of fear and control. It doesn't feel good to one partner or the other. Oftentimes there's a lot of triggers that happen during sex. If you've experienced things in your relationship where trust has been broken and you don't feel much safety, then sex can be very confusing. The foundation of the relationship isn't there to support a healthy sex life and good intimacy. Taking a break from sex can give some space to take the pressure off. You can reset the expectations around intimacy. You can understand yourself better. You can self-reflect and understand the things that you've done that haven't been very healthy in the relationship. It's good to take that break and know that right now, that's just not going to happen, so that we can work on ourselves, so that we can lay that foundation and re-engage in a way where sex is something totally different for you. So I've worked with couples and we've done what's called a 90-day sex fast. Now, if you ever do this, I'd recommend you do it with a therapist that knows what they're doing. But the point of the 90-day sex fast is to take a break and reset those expectations and create some safety. It's really fascinating what's happened when we do a 90-day sex fast with a couple. Good things happen, and then sometimes it's not so good. But one thing that oftentimes happens, if it's done right, is by the 90 days, is that the couple wants to have sex so bad with each other because they've created that foundation, they've created trust in the relationship. The 90-day sex fast is all about connection. It's all about creating intimacy in other ways, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. They can connect intimacy in other ways. And as they do that, they feel closer to each other and they want to engage in intimacy. Now, the flip side of that, I've seen couples do a 90-day sex fast. And if they've been using sex as a means to feel okay with themselves, if they've been using sex to cope with emotions, then it's really hard to stop having sex. And it's really uncomfortable. And things like resentment amp up. And anger and frustration with your partner because they're not giving you what you want. Now, that's not healthy. And what I would say is, if you really want to heal and reset those expectations, work on the foundation of your relationship, then take a step back and take a break from sex and start to connect in different ways before you expect sex to fix everything. I was working with one couple. Let's call them Rick and Liz. Okay, so Rick and Liz, they were having some trouble with their sex life. Safety wasn't there. Trust wasn't there. And they decided, let's just take a break. Let's do this 90 days. And they set up different things that they could do to connect throughout those 90 days. They set up things like going on a walk together, checking in with each other about the kids and other things going on in their lives. They went on a weekly date night where they were able to talk about bigger things together. And they kept the boundary of, we're not going to have sex. So by about day 60 of their 90-day sex fast, they wanted to have sex so bad because they felt so connected to each other. But they also felt safe that they were holding those boundaries of, you made a commitment, you have the integrity to keep that commitment. And so now I feel safe with you. Once that 90 days was over, that foundation of their relationship had been supported, it had been helped, and they felt better about their relationship, and they felt better about being intimate with each other. And their intimacy wasn't about one person or the other. It was about them as a couple coming together. I want to tell you a story about another couple. Now, what they did was they knew that their sex life wasn't healthy. They knew that they needed to take a break and they needed to reset some things. So we worked through it. They decided to do this 90-day sex fast. And what happened quickly was they had been using sex as a Band-Aid in their relationship. It was the thing that they used to get over all of their problems. And when sex was taken away, they had to actually face all those problems. And it was difficult. And so what happened was they broke their commitment to the sex fast. It lasted 7 days because they couldn't deal with not having sex in their relationship to fix all of their problems. Eventually, he moved out. They separated and they pushed further apart because they were using sex and they were using intimacy in all the wrong ways. And they weren't able to rebuild that foundation of trust in the relationship. If you're considering doing a sex fast or taking sex off the table, I would really suggest that you work with a therapist who knows what they're doing. The couples that I've talked about, some were successful, some weren't. But most of the time, they're pretty far along in the therapeutic process when we suggest something like a sex fast. Now, if sex is destructive, if sex is abusive, if it's dangerous in any way, it is absolutely okay for the answer to be no. Either partner can say, I don't want sex because I feel traumatized by it. And know that you have permission to protect your own body and to protect yourself. Healthy sex in a relationship takes trust and intimacy. If you want more trust and intimacy in your relationship, then check out my video, How Do You Know If a Man Has Intimacy Issues? And it might help you understand what's underneath some of the problems that you're having with your sex life.